All right, and welcome to the CouncilCast. This is episode 29, recorded on December 12th, 2017. The council is now in session, and as with every week, we'll make arbitrary decisions about topics on science, technology, and random shit with little background and next to no expertise. All CouncilCast decisions are final and have no bearing on anything. So welcome to this week. We have a smaller crew this week.
A little bit.
Um, so we'll see if
Started with
maybe
3 last one, and then it grew, and then it shrunk again.
yeah, we'll see what we can get yet this week. Maybe somebody will come. Maybe they'll go. Uh, anyway, we'll start off the evening with the topics about science. And Jurassic World is first up. This is the new trailer for the new Jurassic World movie,
Yeah,
Fallen Kingdom.
that's some like real sciencey stuff they're doing there. I felt when I saw it that I was immersed in science, and also inspired by the possibilities of science, because life will find a way.
Maybe.
Right on, right on.
So
I appreciate
good.
the enthusiasm.
that's
Are you-
that's basically all I know about it.
Are you saying you're excited for this movie then?
Wait, it's a movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely.
No, they're building a world actually right now, Jurassic World on an island.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was a documentary, and I thought that I was going to get to go visit this place.
Your
Really
ticket
excited about
only
it.
costs $10 million.
All right, seems worth it. You get to see dinosaurs. Man, when I was a kid, I would go visit. We went to visit South Dakota for a family vacation, and while we were up there, one of the things we got to go do was visit an archaeological dig site thing. And they were like, you get to help dig up dinosaur bones. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so cool. Dinosaur bones. I love dinosaurs. I've heard my friends talk about Jurassic Park. I'm sure when I see it someday.
On, so why not?
Yes. And when I got there, I was really sad because they're like, all right, here's your little tiny broom that's like this big. Now just dust a little bit at a time until the dinosaur bone. I'm like, I can see it right there. Let's just get a shovel. Like, we could make short order of this. 9-year-old Silas did not understand dinosaur bones. And you know what? 31-year-old Silas does not understand dinosaur bones either. So,
You know, that's a pretty good story because I have a similar story where we did a field trip when I was in elementary school. And we went to, it wasn't quite South Dakota, but it was, I don't know, not that far away, along the highway somewhere. And they just said, they stopped the bus and they said, everybody off, you can go dig for fossils.
all right, nobody get lost. Stick
So
together.
you just have a whole class full of kids running around on the side of a highway trying to dig up some fossils.
Was this like, was the company sign like spray painted on the side of a van? Was this
That's
legit?
incredible.
I don't know, but all I know is that I dug up a little fossil and I took it home with me. So.
Absolutely fantastic. You found a fossil?
Yeah, like there's all those little fish ones. They're only like this big. It's like a little shell.
Okay.
Kind of cast them in stone.
But did they do it like an Easter egg hunt style? Did they like go out and just like toss a whole bunch of them out in the field the night before? And they're like, all right, see what you can find.
Silas, don't ruin his childhood, man. Okay.
Oh, my bad. It's my bad. I'm sorry. I mean,
that's
really
cool. Found a freaking fossil.
It's really cool. I'm sorry to question that at all.
So, is anybody, Pat, you interested in this Jurassic World? I didn't even see the last Jurassic World movie, to be honest with you.
I didn't either, but it looked really good, and I heard it was really good. And this one's Steven Spielberg. Love him. He can't do wrong, generally speaking. So
is he directing this one?
I don't know. It just said his name really big in the trailer, so
I think he's executive producer. Let me double check that because
I have it paused and it says executive producer Steven Spielberg.
Oh,
so
okay, perfect.
That might be it.
That answers that. Yep. No, it'll be cool.
Thumbs up.
Give it a thumbs up.
I'll give it a thumbs up.
That's
a thumbs up. All right.
Bunch of thumbs.
So if you're gonna go to, if Jurassic World really existed, in the future, maybe you might be able to get to the island by an electric airplane.
There's a good possibility of that.
So the next story here is in technology about electric airplanes. And I think the biggest thing here is they're talking about small hybrid electric aircrafts. Not quite the big jumbo jets that you're used to flying on for commercial air, but just more smaller regional jet type of stuff that's all going to be potentially electric driven.
Yeah.
I think the biggest holdback that they mentioned, and I think this has always been a concern, is just the size of batteries and how much battery power is required to drive an electric motor for as long as an airplane would fly for.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think this sounds like a really, really cool idea, and why not?
I mean, it's yeah, I completely agree that it's like this is where we're headed anyway. I just don't know. I think everyone's like, yeah, sure. I don't care what powers my vehicle, except for the people who are in oil and stuff, and like, this is how I make my living. But sorry, Patrick, if that's what you do for a living is oil. So
I buy and sell oil on the black market.
So I think that the majority of the public doesn't care what powers their vehicles. And so I think that's really cool. And I think most people would agree, oh, cool. It's good for the environment. Great. But the thing that I'm interested in most about this article was how it just kind of brushes over Uber's very excited about this. I'm like, why is Uber excited about electric miniature planes that are designed like cars? Like, are they expecting people to be car flyer Uber drivers?
No, they're not excited about the planes. They're excited about like I think the single passenger style like drone that's battery powered.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, I misread that.
Because I think the difficulty is, like Blaine was saying, it's the potential energy that a battery has is nowhere near a fossil fuel. So it's really difficult to make like an airliner size aircraft that can actually carry large cargo or large people.
Or even regular sized people, but a lot of them.
Well, and the other benefit is, you've started seeing obviously all of these drones, and all the drones are electrically powered.
Mm-hmm.
I think drones a little bit of a misnomer in itself, but the fact is that you've now got electric motors that are relatively inexpensive compared to maybe what they used to be, and battery power that's significantly better than what it used to be. That they've now been able to get to be able to bundle all of these things together into much smaller packages that are easy to fly, and they could potentially be autonomous. And I think that's what Uber is really interested in is, you want to order up a airplane to get you from your 1,000-mile high skyscraper that we built with our fracture-proof concrete from last week, and they want to fly you down to the ground. Why not? Order it up. It shows up at your front door. You step out and fly away.
That'd be cool, but I don't know. I mean, I'm hesitant enough to hop into a car that drives itself, but is this drone flown by someone else, or is this just like
it's all automated?
Yeah. I trust that the technology is safe, but I don't know that I want to. It's a toss-up. Do you want to get behind you? I get in a plane regularly to fly all over the world. And I'm totally fine with some dude that I don't know flying me there because he has a license. I haven't seen it, but I trust that he has one. And how is that any different than me hopping into a plane that's powered by a computer, which is probably smarter than me? I haven't looked at the specs to know, but
computers fly the planes today. I don't really think pilots actually do a whole lot other than
fair enough.
Just in case something happens, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. How much worse is it to jump into going on the whole, whether it's an automated plane or an automated car thing, to kind of do an offshoot? How much worse is it to jump in a car that's self-driven by AI versus a car that's driven by who the hell knows who, and who knows who gave them their license?
Exactly.
See, I'm okay with the car thing as long as, right? I don't trust all these other people, these 16-year-olds texting,
exactly,
driving next to me. It's more like, as long as everybody has, AI-driven cars, good. A lot less chance for a mistake to be made, because that's the danger on the road. Is it's the human error. That's the scary part. Like Silas was saying, though, for a plane, it's sort of like a collision. It's more like am I going to drop you off in the middle of the lake? You know,
Yeah,
because somebody put in metric instead of standard.
right. Exactly. That's. I mean, when you're, I don't. Do the Uber airplanes come with parachutes built in? Like, I mean, what are the safety backups? These are my concerns. So,
I mean, I think the thing that confuses me though is you're right. Is the automated thing like why are we all of a sudden jumping to automated taxi services that are flying? Why whatever happened to just having another pilot drive it around for a while to get it started?
yeah, yep, exactly. Uber's like, you know what? We could just buy a bunch of these planes that are also cars that could drive themselves, and then we get all of the money rather than having to give any to our employees because we don't have employees anymore.
Oh, keep in mind but they're not employees really.
Well,
But this won't be.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fair point. They're independent contractors.
Think about though, like Amazon's delivery services, right? I mean, you're competing with like UPS, for example. Not really, because Amazon actually uses, you know, delivery companies, but you're shipping boxes around in trucks. Sure, works great, it's cost effective. And now all of a sudden you have the ability to deliver like a single package with a drone. Why? Why do that? Well, it's more of a specialty service, right? It's maybe that's what Uber's looking at is like, no, the average Joe Schmo is still going to ride an Uber around. But if you're fancy and snazzy and you want to pay like a boatload of money to just like fly a little copter to work every day or something, you know, you're willing to drop some dough for it. It's a status thing.
So what's the difference between having one of these though and just having your own helicopter that flies you to work?
Because you can say it. It's a status thing.
I like it. I'm going to give.
I think I like it too. I like electric airplanes in general, so I'm okay with it.
I like electric airplanes, and you know, I'll hop on one that's flying itself after I've seen it not crash somebody else to death.
Innovation, thumbs up. Although, yeah, we'll let some rich people die and work out the kinks.
Yeah, they got money. They got money.
All right. So speaking of getting money, what about Mech Warrior 5?
Yes.
So new preview, Mech Warrior. They're now coming out with a new version. There's a new preview and trailer out from MechCon 2017, and it's Mech Warrior, I guess. Who's excited?
You know, I got kind of super excited when I saw this, and then I also kind of got really sad because I thought that it was just like a brand new reboot from the Mech Warrior game that I knew as a kid on my dad's computer at work. And then I realized that this is not like the second version of this game, that it's been coming out year after year with new updates, or not every year, but regularly since 1997 or whatever. And then it made me just sad because I missed a lot of Mech Warrior over the last 20 years. Good story, Silas. And that's all I have to add.
You wished it was better. I think it sounds interesting. It looks interesting. The video was very mechy. So, I mean, if you're into mechs, why not go play some more Mech Warrior? They do say that it's not going to have a linear story, whether that's good or bad. I mean,
that weirds me out a little bit.
I can just imagine it's going to be more focus on multiplayer or whatever the heck they want to do, loot boxes and shit like that. So,
well, it's go ahead, Patrick.
I was gonna say, I don't know. I feel like if you watch the trailer, okay, you open it up. It's like the first 30, 45 seconds or the first minute is sort of like this nice theatrical opening. You got a little bit of a storyline going. I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna be awesome. You hop in, you know, you're turning and the music started going, and I'm like, this is like a movie. This is awesome. And then it opens and it's sort of like not so great. I don't know. I feel like they're missing an opportunity. Like if they made it a little darker, a little more cinematic like that, I think it would have real potential.
The graphics looked very reminiscent to the stuff that I played in 1997.
Are you saying they have an improved graphics technology in Mech Warrior?
Not well, no, apparently not. That, as far as I can tell. I mean, this is from the YouTube trailer that I watched on the website, so I don't know. I would probably play it, but I'm also like really bad at getting around to buying video games, so I might play it when I hear about the Mech Warrior that comes out in 2035 or something. I'll be like, oh, I should play that Mech Warrior game.
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind, this was announced that it will launch in 2018 next year, specifically next December. So you have a year to figure it out yet.
And hopefully they have a year to figure out the storyline, because when it bounces around from like decade to decade, it's like they said that the storyline takes place over 35 years.
Yeah.
That's oddly specific.
It is very oddly specific, isn't it? Like, why 35? Why not 29?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that would be my first choice too.
You have to play to find out.
And to Pat's point, I guess hold off on probably pre-ordering it. So wait and see what they do.
Yeah.
Here's my question, okay? When are they going to come out with a Mech Warrior where it's like you wear a VR headset and you're in one of these, self-flying, human transporting, drones, right? We're all playing together. I want to play that game.
So you're actually out like on a paintball field.
Yeah.
And you're playing Mech Warriors with 3D headsets on, and you get to run around and actually crash into each other.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh. That sounds. Why don't they just build real mech suits?
And go to business.
This is the next step.
Let's do it. Let's do it. You, Pat, you and I, we're gonna do it. We're gonna build mech. Do you know how to build a Mech Warrior?
I don't, but it's a really good idea, and I think would pay for it.
Do you know a guy? If you know a guy, because I have a guy who could hook us up with the paintball field.
Okay.
But we just need the Mech Warriors now.
I know of a guy. I don't know a guy. I know of a guy.
Oh, you know what? That's close enough. I think that we should just make it an LLC and call it a day.
There you go.
All right.
I'm going to vote down on Mech Warrior 5 then, because I wish that Mech Warrior 5 was the game you're talking about.
So yeah, I'm going to vote thumbs up to our new business venture, Pat.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
I'm with you.
All right. Speaking of business, what would you think if you were to sell a product and your competitor that is selling your product came out with their own? Would you be pretty upset if they said, "Nope, we're not going to sell your product anymore"? Because that's what Google is doing to Amazon, and vice versa. So the big deal here is that Google is going to be pulling the YouTube app from being able to play on any Amazon device, including the Amazon Fire TV and the Echo Show. And it's all because Amazon will not carry any of the Google products on their online store. So because Amazon won't sell you a Chromecast, a Home, or a Nest hardware online, Google's just saying, well, you don't get to use any of the YouTube apps on any of those Amazon devices.
Makes sense. I mean, why not? I mean, it's a free market. If you want to make your product inaccessible to thousands of people, yeah, sure, take it away, and limit your ability to make money off of one of your products. Great idea. And you're as big as Google, why not? Do whatever you want. You're eventually going to cease to exist in like 30 or 40 years anyway. So, goodbye, one viewer. We had one viewer for a while, so we were doing pretty good there.
So the thing I don't understand is I don't understand why either of these guys are in such a stupid battle. I mean, Amazon's arguing over selling literally a $35 Chromecast and a $150 Google Home and a Nest. They don't even compete in the Nest, so I'm not even going to count that part of it. But I mean,
maybe they want to? This is a big deal. This is a big deal. I think it's bigger than people realize.
Yeah.
The reason is because the next big thing is home automation. Home automation and the Home Assistant, right? Like the Echo and the Google Home Assistant and whatever Apple's is. Do you know what it's called?
I don't remember.
It's like the iHome or something, whatever it is.
It's like I don't know.
It's going to integrate into people's lives even further. You've got the phones now. There's going to be car integration. There's going to be home integration. Everything you have will be tied together. So I feel like there's this race to get in the door. Once you're in people's doors, that's what you have, right? You're going to use that. I've got the Echo, or I've got the Google Home Assistant or whatever. So I think that's why Amazon is not wanting to sell the Google one, because they're direct competition, right? So why would Amazon sell it? But in reverse, I think it's petty on Google's part to say, well, we're not going to put our services on your stuff. I mean, it sort of makes sense, I guess. But I think that does actually make an impact, because I thought the video one that Amazon came out with that you like put in your kitchen, I thought that was really cool. If it can't play a YouTube video, I'm not going to buy that thing, right? Because I want to be able to just look up on YouTube, like, hey, show me the recipe for this thing or whatever.
Yeah, and I get where you're coming from the you don't want to sell your competitor's product, but at the same time, Amazon's business strategy is they sell everything on their online store, and they're, in my mind, losing out on revenue that they could be making by selling those Google devices too. So I see this as them saying, okay, we're not going to be the online retailer anymore. We want to be this home automation, your one-stop shop for everything Amazon.
But that's exactly right. That's exactly right. They're investing. They're giving up the sales today, like you're saying, but it's the future sales of, if we're in everybody's home, we're going to make more money off of that.
Yep.
The other big thing,
it seems really petty, but I think you're right. It's a really, really big situation, and Amazon's kind of putting their foot down and saying this is where we want to be.
The other big thing about Amazon that I don't know who I was talking with about this within the last 6 months here, but they make the majority of their money selling stuff to big corporations. So they will innovate a set of technologies for their warehouse to be able to move things from this part of the warehouse to that part of the warehouse so that it can be packaged to be shipped over to another part of the warehouse to be shipped out. And they have this whole automated system to do that so that they have fewer employees than, people working at a Walmart. Walmart distribution center, which needs tons and tons and tons of manual labor to operate. And Amazon's able to beat them out because they're having robots do the majority of the heavy lifting. And they take that system, which they are selling things to be able to show other companies, look, our stuff works to move stuff around. And people go, oh, that looks awesome. I want that system. Oh, I know what it was. It was a Nerdwriter video. I'm fairly certain. I'll try and find a link and put it in the show notes or something. But this Nerdwriter video where he talks about this situation with Amazon, and they did another thing where they were setting up a grocery store. It was more of a convenience store, but it had food items and magazines and toilet paper and you name it. And it was just a tiny store, and I think it's in Seattle. But you could walk in, pick something up off the shelf. You scan your phone. That's what it was. You scan your phone when you walk in with your Amazon account. You walk around, you pick up all the things you want. You scan your phone on the way out, and then it just charges your card for you. And it knows exactly what you got. You don't have to ring up each item individually. You don't have to have somebody there checking what you're doing. And I was like, oh man, are they going to open up a bunch of these all over the place? And the guy in the Nerdwriter video was talking about, no, probably not. They're doing it as a marketing campaign to be able to show other grocery stores around the country / world, look at how we've set up this stuff. And as they come out with more and more updates to their software, people are going to be coming in and saying, let me buy this from you. And so the thing with the automated Amazon, the Alexa or whatever, I'm not sure if this is, I do agree with you, Patrick, that it's like that this is the next big thing. And the more homes that they're in, the better for them. But I also don't know if it's their end game to be, this isn't their only business that they're diving into. So I don't know exactly what their end game is with it. And maybe it is, maybe they are trying to say this is one thing that we want to have in everyone's house, because then everyone buys more stuff because they can just say, hey, Alexa, we're out of toilet paper. And Alexa's like, it's on its way tomorrow or whatever. So.
Right. But think about it this way, right? How does Google make money? Right? They don't sell services, they give them away. And they get back in return, they get data. They sell your data. You are the product, right?
Yeah.
I think what you just described is very similar with like Amazon, that they're basically using their sales and warehousing and stuff and selling to you. It's not really so they can make money. It's, again, you're the product. You're allowing them to innovate and then sell their innovation, sell their companies. It's almost the same concept. And I think they're probably looking at it as, here's this whole new area that we're going to expand into, be the leaders, because it's going to open up new sources of revenue.
Yep.
So
And
it's interesting.
better ways to track and get data from people too. So why not?
Right.
So I guess going back to the whole article here is just, it really sucks that Google is going to pull YouTube from their Amazon devices. But I mean, what does Amazon have a recourse with? Are they going to just create a web wrapper? Are they going to just say, screw it, we don't need it? Make their own YouTube?
They might try to. I mean, they tried to make their own movie studio, Amazon Movies, and
They have their own music too as well. So
they got a lot of things going.
They have Amazon Video. There's private videos. I mean, not private, but like there's user-generated content, but it's not YouTube.
It's not
even close.
I mean, Vimeo is the only other video platform that I'll go to regularly. And I'm going to Vimeo to look at professionals' work as a professional in the field of videography. So I can go in and say, I think somebody's going to have actual real test footage from this new camera, or there's going to be somebody who has video footage out like as test video to say, this is how you do this, not how you do this technique, but what the technique looks like, right? I can go to YouTube to figure out how to do the technique, but if I want to see how it looks in full HD without any pixel binning or anything like that, where YouTube will just compress and do all kinds of weird stuff to it, Vimeo has a much better streaming platform for that, but they don't have the community base that YouTube does. So yeah, I agree with you that for Amazon to come out next week and say, well, we have our own video thing, they'll just get laughed at. So ayo, there's the big guy.
Well, hey, man,
Apple's is HomeKit.
HomeKit, thank you.
HomeKit.
You were one viewer. Okay. So one thing on that quick, they actually did buy Twitch. It's funny, we were talking about Twitch online recently, but like it does have a huge user base. It's more live streaming, which YouTube also does, but they do have the ability to like clip things. And so Amazon does have that. Maybe they'll buy Vimeo. I don't know.
That's true.
They could.
How long until Google buys Amazon or vice versa?
Ooh, never.
That's not going to happen.
Antitrust laws, stop that.
If anything, it'll go the other way. They'll probably get split up before they merge.
Probably true. All right, I'm gonna vote thumbs down because I wish that everybody played better.
Yeah,
and
I don't like people having my information.
Yeah, thumbs down.
All right. Speaking of something that you can probably buy on Amazon, maybe most likely when it finally comes out, is Windows tablets running on ARM. So for everybody who hasn't seen what this is, most obviously Windows tablets. What?
Thought we already did that.
Windows on ARM?
Yeah.
No. Well,
Windows RT?
Microsoft tried it. The difference here is that this is actually full Windows. This is actually running your standard full-blown Windows in a virtualization layer. And so the idea is it actually will run your regular x86 programs, emulating it on top of ARM.
So they're emulating x86 on top of ARM?
Windows 86?
No, that ain't going to be slow.
It must be good enough, otherwise they wouldn't be releasing it.
I guess.
Oh yeah, like Microsoft's never released anything that wasn't good.
Clearly.
I mean, it at least must work to some extent. The biggest push that they're talking about, though, is that they're going to be able to get bigger, or not bigger, but better battery life out of these types of devices because they're going to run on much, much lower. I don't know. I think they're just going to run like crap.
Honestly, I would seriously consider putting money on this thing flopping big time. Or just at least going nowhere. I mean,
wager some Bitcoin.
I just don't see. I don't see who is the market for this. I mean, I can see this kind of being a Chromebook competitor, but at the same time, the devices they announced are all like $800, $900, $1,000 devices.
Right, exactly.
Who's gonna buy that shit?
No one's gonna buy that.
You can buy a goddamn laptop for that price.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know. Is there any other benefit to something like this, or you guys not interested in this at all?
Well, I mean, it just seems
like that is like the single biggest thing.
Do you need a tablet or laptop that's more battery?
Always. Is that even a question?
You always need more battery. Doesn't matter what you have. I mean, even if you
No,
get this thing, it's going to not be enough battery.
I disagree. I think phones are the bigger thing, and I'm not running Windows on my phone. So,
Well,
as far as battery life is concerned,
yeah. No, I think that something like that, like I'm thinking from a creative design professional wanting something like this, and if you're inside, I could see it being beneficial if you're doing photo editing or mostly photo editing, or if you're doing Photoshop work where you're designing or creating pictures, because then you have the ability right on a tablet to draw and sketch, and they have great stylists out there that can work with those things. And so you can do those changes on the device. However, most professionals who are working with that sort of thing are working in either Lightroom or Photoshop. And if you're doing Lightroom for photo retouching, the iPad Pro already does that and does it better than working on a desktop platform. And so it's a toss-up. I don't see anyone who the iPad seems to have more functionality outside of just that task. And like you guys said, if you want a real computer, just go buy a real computer. Or what they should be doing is just making this like the tablets that fold back and you can just already write on the screen. Like that, in my mind, is way more useful. I can't remember what those are called.
they already have them. There's a Surface.
Surface. Yeah.
Unless they're going to start competing with Apple on price with comparing to like an iPad, I don't know. I don't see the point.
Yep.
Yeah, I looked it up. Asus announced a laptop called the Nova Go, and they are apparently promising 22 hours of battery life. So,
who on God's earth is using a laptop for 22 hours straight?
I mean, I guess it's nice if you're going to be away from your computer or from your charger for a couple days. You know, if you leave for the weekend, you toss it in your bag and you don't have to bring a charger.
What does that include that you're doing?
Anything. Apparently, it doesn't.
Because I feel like the biggest thing for me when I'm using my laptop on the road is, and I'm doing video editing and I'm processing multiple layers of 4K video footage and then applying tons of effects to that and trying to export a 20+ minute long video, which I do sometimes for weddings or event videos. And it doesn't matter. I don't think it would matter if I got on that or on my MacBook Pro right now. I'm still going to run out of battery in about 3 to 4 hours.
You see,
just
you won't.
it.
You won't on this because you won't be able to run those apps in the first place.
Well, I mean, you're not able to plug in Adobe Premiere or anything like that. It's just Windows.
You might be able to. You're only going to be able to run the x86 version of it, so you're not going to be able to run the 64-bit version. And I mean,
not worth it.
Running on a processor that is going to be going into cell phones tomorrow, so I don't see the performance there to be able to do extensive video editing.
Then I don't need it, like at all.
Yeah, I just don't see who the target market is here. They seem to have created a segment for something that doesn't matter. Congratulations.
Wall Street. Maybe they're using it on Wall Street. Maybe.
Sure.
I don't work there. I don't know what they do.
I'm going to thumbs down it because I don't see the point here. I don't.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to do that whole thing where they pay the NFL to pull up like surfaces and stuff, and the fucking hosts will call them iPads.
That'll totally.
What a goddamn shit show that was.
That's
you know
awesome.
They extended that contract, right?
Man, these new Microsoft iPads are really nice. Lets me draw a button hook route.
Well, okay, so if you want to be able to do your video editing, what you probably need is the new NVIDIA Titan V.
So when I looked at that, I was just completely confused on what the specs meant, but I knew it was fast because $3,000 is a lot of money.
Yes.
Is it fast? Is it really fast? Describe how fast it is to me in people terms.
It's probably the full spec, isn't it, Blaine?
Yes, it's basically
It's a full card spec rather than
it's a full card
backed
spec.
off. All right.
Correct. It's essentially it's the first consumer Volta card that NVIDIA is coming out with, so it's the first HBM2 card that they're coming out with for consumers. They've previously launched these in the professional I can't remember what their professional line of cards are called right now. But they came out with that, and now this is the consumer version. But if you're buying a professional card, those are in the $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 range. This is,
I've looked at those
of course,
before.
a much more reasonable $3,000.
If I'm going to spend $3,000, I'm just going to go up to the $5,000 or $8,000 card at that point, so that I can get the real deal.
But essentially, this is essentially the real deal, just marketed more towards gamers. So this actually has video outputs that you can plug your monitor into. And yeah, you can say you have the most powerful graphics card.
Kind of.
And apparently, you can only buy 2 per customer when they come out. So
the Tesla.
Tesla.
The Tesla's. I had to look that up. It's $10,000. But it is. This one is, but it's a 24 gigs of GPU, which is, I think, decent. 24 gigs of graphics.
Memory?
GPU 24 gigabyte graphics card. So,
sure.
You can basically you could have 8K footage on 5 monitors at once and still be able to stream YouTube in 4K quality.
As long as you're not on an Amazon device.
As long as you're not. Yep, exactly.
I would recommend you should not go out and buy one of these cards.
Yeah. Oh, the $10,000 one, or
any of them.
Tell me more about that.
Why would you need a $3,000 graphics card?
You don't. That's the whole point. But you're helping innovation.
I was hopeful. So for a while, I was working on building my own rig for video editing that I wanted to be the beast of all beasts that I could afford. And it was supposed to be like 3 times as fast or 4 times as fast when I got done with all the specs as the MacBook, the Mac Pro that I could afford at the same price point. And so it was a PC versus a Mac and dilemma. And what I found was, with my custom build, my brother built it for me, and it just kept doing weird things because I don't know how PCs work and couldn't fix things. So like I would do an update. Oh, you need to do an update. Okay, I'll do an update. And I did the update, and then one of my monitors stopped working. And then I asked my brother, what do I do? And he said, you need to uninstall the update. And I said, what? Where do I do that? And he said, you do it inside of the computer. And he had a more specific response than that, but I did not know what he meant. So it ended up being a lot more trouble than it was worth. So I agreed that these NVIDIA cards sound really fast, but I'm still going to just want to buy a Mac that I know how to use. So.
Yeah, and to be fair, this is probably for this is really geared at those prosumer types of customers like yourself who are doing massive amounts of video editing or GPU processing and don't want to or need to pay $10,000 for basically the same card with enterprise level support. So,
well, yeah, and those bigger cards too are going to be for. I really see those bigger cards being used for people who are doing like Pixar level stuff. Like, right. Oh, we need a 3D rendering of a room to scale that, of like the entire inside of a giant building to scale so that we can have our other 3D characters chase each other around inside of it.
Yeah.
That rendering time is massive then.
But if you're going to just game on a 1080p monitor, you probably don't need this.
No.
So
I'm going to do this.
But you can thumbs up it or thumbs down. I thumbs down. So I don't.
And Matt thumbs up because that's his picture right now.
Because that's his picture. However, if you do want to buy this card, you won't be able to do it with maybe Bitcoin, because the latest news now this week is that NiceHash, everybody's favorite popular, easy-to-use mining program in Pool, has now their wallet was hacked for a tune of $66 billion.
Million.
Or I guess just over about 4,700 Bitcoin was stolen from their wallet.
66 million.
Oh, did I say billion? Sorry, 66 million.
How are they going to cash that? It's not like US dollars that they could just take in a little bit at a time to a ton of different banks. It's not like you can go into US bank and be like, I would like to cash in some Bitcoin for quarters, please.
Yeah, that's a great point, because these guys, whoever stole the Bitcoin, they're going to be able to track down kind of where it's more or less going.
Yeah.
And whoever is going to try and exchange that out into whatever currency you're using, you're probably going to be caught at that point in time, I would imagine.
It's probably an inside job.
It was probably an inside job, or it's somebody actually trying to launder like real money somehow.
It was easier to hack somebody and steal their Bitcoin to launder your money.
Or it was Polish US government trying to, just give it a bad name. They want to kill it.
Yeah, I mean, the crappiest part about this whole deal is everybody who was mining using NiceHash, it totally got screwed, because there were some people who did. NiceHash had their own wallet, and if you stored your money or your Bitcoin in their wallet, or you were saving up until you got paid out, all of that Bitcoin is now gone. So,
Matt,
kind of sucks.
Matt, did you lose any Bitcoin?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
Was it insured anyway?
So the moral of the story is be careful with what you're doing with your Bitcoin, and you may not want to leave it with somebody else for a while. Just a good rule of thumb in general.
Probably a good rule of thumb anyway. Not leave your money with anyone besides a bank. Was this place NiceHash a bank?
No.
It
was a marketplace. Yeah. Well, basically, what they did was they connected people selling hashing power to people who wanted to buy hashing power. So,
guy at work, Blaine.
Yeah.
You know how Litecoin decided to go to 300 and something?
Yeah.
Yeah, a guy at work had 90 some Litecoin and sold at like 120. So instead of having like $30,000 worth of Litecoin, he has like 8.
Nice. Whoops, that was the wrong time.
Oops.
Regret.
The biggest thing is I can see a lot more people are going to jump on altcoins at this point with the Bitcoin. So,
Litecoin's down to 300 now.
I've seen that Ethereum has been up though.
Has it?
Yeah. Seems like everybody has.
Okay. Quick theory time here. Like digital currency.
It's 618.
Digital currency in general, is it getting big now because nerds that are in this stuff that are like of a generation now have money? Just throwing it out there.
I think that's probably part of it.
Maybe so.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, I remember talking about Bitcoin years ago when we were still at the shop.
When we had no money.
Yeah, but nobody like you couldn't go trade Bitcoin futures on a legit like US exchange.
Right.
Like you can as of what, 2 days ago?
Yesterday, I think.
Because there's money in it.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. It's either that or all the people in China are mining like crazy for.
Dude, I don't know.
I mean,
I think it's here
they
to
are
stay.
and have been.
I do think that these crypto coins are probably going to stick around for a while. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. I just hope that it doesn't impact the GPU market as much as it has been this year. I want to buy them for graphics cards.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Too bad.
Oh, well,
Hashing, I vote thumbs down on getting your money stolen. So, all right.
But I give a thumbs up for the possibility of an awesome heist movie plotline. So I changed
involving
Bitcoin and these guys stealing
boring heist movie ever.
$1 million. It would be
all it's going to have is a bunch of people hacking on a computer screen.
Matt, have you seen
great
Swordfish?
hacking movies.
Have you seen Swordfish? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. They didn't say Bitcoin in that movie, so I'm still holding out. Me and Matt together.
Got potential.
Well, I think on our last story, I'm going to hold out for some of this Martian brewed beer.
I agree.
Where Budweiser is apparently going to be sending some barley seeds into space, which was supposed to be on the SpaceX rocket today, I think.
Mars beer.
I already have some of that.
But these Budweiser is actually going to go send some barley there and potentially have it come back, I guess. And then
round trip. It's going to be good stuff. Enjoy a bottle of Mars beer on us. If you write into our email address, we will send you a bottle of Mars beer if we think about it.
We will not.
If we think about it, Matt. If we think about it. But this episode is brought to you by Mars Beer.
Buy beer. More beer.
Why did it have to be Budweiser?
Because
that ain't Budweiser, that's Bell's.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought it was Budweiser that was...
Budweiser is
talking about the actual thing.
Oh, I don't know.
Because they wanted the marketing? I don't know.
They're gonna send it. They're gonna send up the barley probably on a fucking Clydesdale with a rocket shoved up its ass.
Yep.
I would pay to see that.
Definitely. Yes, please. I will drink that.
I vote thumbs up because I like beer, so why not?
I want to see how much somebody pays for it if it actually makes it back.
A lot.
I know. That's what I want to see.
That's good. How much Bitcoin? That's what I want to know.
You could be the person that says, I had the first beer that was brewed on Mars. I mean,
Why
there's only
not?
one person that can say that eventually.
It's an excellent point.
Very good point. All right.
And I now want to be that person. How long before this beer gets made?
No
How much
idea.
time do I have to sign up to save up Bitcoin?
You might
that's-
have a while to wait.
That'll be the only currency that we use by the time the beer gets back to us.
It's a bar hop, 7 months there and 7 months back, I think.
Oh God, is there a party bus? The SpaceX party bus?
A 14-month party bus.
I can
Yes,
only
please.
hope so.
You would be so tired of partying by the time you got there.
Like that episode of Futurama with that slug who's the party slug for Slurm.
Yeah, and he's just like wants to die.
And he pulls up his sunglasses and his eyes are so bloodshot. He's like, I gotta keep partying. And he parties the queen to death. Oh man, that was a good episode.
That was good.
And then they realize what Slurm is and they're all disgusted and then they just keep drinking it. They don't care.
Isn't Fry just like, oh God? And
And he takes another drink. Yeah. Spits it out. So bad. He takes another drink.
All right. I think that wraps up the council for tonight. And we are now going to declare the meeting adjourned. If you liked what you saw and want to check out past episodes, you can go to councilcast.org.
I liked what I saw.
And all of our podcasts are recorded live on YouTube, but you can find the audio files on iTunes. If you have a topic you'd like the council's decision on, you can email us at councilcast@gmail.com or connect with us on Twitter at the CouncilCast or Facebook by searching for CouncilCast.
Have we ever gotten a Twitter message that wasn't spam?
I have no idea.
Let me go check it out.
We don't check it, right? That's the council thing to do, right?
We check it at the council's discretion. Sure.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
You can send it there. We may or may not respond.
Because really what we're saying right now is if you want to get in contact with us, shove it up your ugly ass.
Oh, I missed you, Matt.
Thank you, and goodbye.
Goodbye.